Right, this is closure problem 1-65. Closure 1-65. And that's right here. It says on graph paper, draw at least 6 different sized rectangles that have an area of 64 square units. Then find the perimeter of each rectangle. Okay, well, we know that if they have an area of 64 units, then so if I were just looking at a rectangle, I know the length times the width has to equal 64. All right, so I can think of one right away, like a square, which would be 8 times 8. So, and then I need to think of like 6 more. So I'm going to go ahead and say 8 times 8 is equal to 64. Then I have to think of other ones. Well, let's do this methodically. First of all, I always know that I can do 1 times 64. So I'll do that. 1 times 64 is equal to 64. And I know that's going to be a long, skinny rectangle. And I know they said to draw it on graph paper, but honestly, I'm supposed to count 64 squares. I'm not going to do that because I think that has limited value. So you guys don't have to do it either. Okay, so you can just make a long, skinny rectangle like that, 1 by 64. Okay, so let's think of another one. Let's see, so 64, is it divisible by 2? Yes, I think it is. So if I do 2 times 32, there's another rectangle that has an area of 64. So this time we'll make a slightly shorter and fatter rectangle. It only goes halfway because it's 32 by 2. And then let's see, does 3 divide into 64? No, it doesn't. 4, does 4 divide into 64? Well, actually it does. So 4 goes into 61 with 20 left over, 24 left over. So that's 16. So we've got 4 times 16 equals 64. Okay, 5 doesn't divide in, 6 doesn't divide in, 7, no. And then we get back to 8. And then we're just retracing our steps. Okay, so we pretty much figured out the ones. So this one is going to be really short and fat. This is going to be half of the 32 length. So it's going to be 4 by 16. Okay, and then that's what we can do with integers. And so far we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're supposed to find 6. Well, what we would have to do now is start doing halves. And just as for this one, we went by half. We made it half as short when we added 1 unit here. Well, we can kind of do the same thing to make this longer. So what if we cut this by half? Then we would have to add 64 more in length. And so I could make a super skinny little rectangle. I can't even draw it straight. So that would be 1/2, and then it would have to be twice as long as that. So twice as long starts with it's 128 units. And then we could actually even cut it down, like we could cut it down by 2 into a third, and then it would have to be 3 times 64. So 1/3, and then 64 times 64 times 3 is 12. 1, 18, oops, 19, and 1. So that's like 192. So super skinny. I think that's 192. We'll have to check our answers. But anyway, we can figure that out. So if we did the fifth one is 1/2 by 128 is equal to 64. And 6, 1/3 of 192 is, we know it's equal to 64. Okay, so now we have to find the perimeter for each one of these. And we know that the perimeter is just the distance around. So for this one, it's 8, 8, 8. So it's 4 times 8. So for 1, it's going to be 4 times 8, or 32. That's our perimeter. For the second one, which is this one, we've got 164, 1 over here, and then 64 again. So that's 2 times 1 times 60, 1 plus 64, or twice, here, let's make it easier on ourselves and do the mental math. Okay, so we've got 2 1s, so that's a 2, plus we've got a 64 and 64, so that is 128. So that's 128 equals 130. So that's the perimeter for that. The third one is this one. So we've got a 2 there, a 2 here, a 32 here. So 2 times 2 plus 2 times 32. So that's 4 plus 64 is equal to 68. So that's the perimeter for that one. 4, 4, and 16. So we've got 2 times 4, because we've got 2 sides with 4, plus 2 times 16, because we've got 2 of those. So that's equal to 8 plus 32, and that is 40. And our fifth one, we've got 1/2 and 1/2 on this end, and then 2 1/28. So 2 times 1/2 is just 1, plus 128 plus 128, or 2 times 128. So that is equal to 6, 1, 5, and 2. So plus 1, that's 257. And then our sixth one, 1/3, 1/3 over here. So we've got 2/3 plus, it's got to be a third, 192 plus 192, 2 times 192. So 2/3, it's just hanging out there. And then 2 times 192, that's 4, 8, and carry the 1, and you've got a 3. So that's 380. Sorry, you can't see that. 384 and 2/3. Okay. So we've got the 1/3 there, the 1/3 there, so that's 2/3, plus 2 times, we've got one side 192, the other side 192. And so we do the math, and it adds up to that. So that's our perimeter for our sixth one. And we can check the answers down below. And it looks like we got the same answers pretty much. Okay. Anyway, you can do that in your own time.